Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Penn State Wrestling's season opening media Zoom. We're going to go in 3 different sections today. And our first segment today features returning national champions Nick Lee and Roman Bravo Young. I'd like to thank the many media who have joined us today. So in order to make this, just use the hand raised function, and we'll go on a first come, first served basis. You can have questions. So let's go ahead. Andy Elder, go ahead.
So Nick and Roman, last year there was so much uncertainty the whole season, whether you would wrestle or not, just all kinds of uncertainty. I'm wondering how this season is a little different and how your approach is a little different going in with things being more certain than they were last year at this time.
Roman, go ahead.
I think it's just wrestling's back, fans are back, and it's pretty much it. Go out to compete in front of people, and we don't really have to worry about anything. Just go out there and do what we do.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like odd starting a regular season after last year, but we're excited, so it's definitely a different feeling.
Clay?
Roman, you're listed on the roster as a senior. Obviously, last year, the rules kind of allow you that extra year of eligibility. Is that something you've thought about? Have you made any decisions about whether you plan on kind of seeing out the extra year of eligibility, or this will be your last year? Or is that something that's still yet to be determined?
Yeah, I'm thinking this is my last year. We'll play it by year, though.
Kenyon?
Yeah, I have a question for both of you, kind of. So I was just wondering, the vast majority of wrestlers returning across the NCAA, like, how do you view this year as different and not just a repeat of last year with almost everyone back?
I think you got a lot of fresh faces coming in as well, just like younger wrestlers that haven't really, been there yet, and that could be really cool. I think one factor that you got to throw in there is just kind of like a fatigue. Just from the last couple of years, especially with older wrestlers. So you get some, young, freshmen or even, redshirt freshmen, sophomores coming in from, some different programs that could really shake things up. So it'll be exciting.
Ben?
How is Carter Sirachi came in last season kind of unproven at the collegiate level? Obviously wins a national title last year. How is his role on the team kind of changed this year? Or has he become a leader going forward?
Yeah, I'll let Roman speak after me, but I think he's definitely, stepped into a leadership role. And that's really cool just coming from a younger guy on the team. So
Yeah, he's his work ethic is unmatched. So I think he just leads by example. So he's definitely a big part of this team, and he's definitely a leader on this team.
Greg?
Thanks, Pat. Thanks for your time, guys. Nick, you just mentioned a couple of minutes ago that there's obviously fresh faces in the sport, young guys, etc. Who are some of the ones on your roster that we should know more about?
We got a really good freshman class, actually. We got, Bo Bartlett, he wrestled last year, but that's it was a weird year. So I think he's definitely a guy to look at. He's incredibly talented, one of the most talented guys we have in the room for sure. Shane Deneth is another guy that's, coming in, and, I shouldn't name names because I'm going to forget guys. Alex Fucundo, obviously coming in, he's looking really, really good. And we got a lot of young guys. I got 2 brothers on the team. So, I can't go through and name all of them, but we're excited for them.
Zach?
My question's for both of you guys. I follow the wrestling team on Instagram, and I see you guys play dodgeball at practice. Can you tell me a little about that? Does it build team chemistry? How does it benefit the team?
Roman, you want to go first?
Yeah, but dodgeball is not my thing. I'm not really into it that much. But those other guys have fun with it and enjoy it. So it's cool to just come in practice and get the energy going and stuff like that. But personally, it's not my thing.
Yeah, I play every once in a while, but some of these guys start going after me a lot, and it makes me hold a grudge against them. So I've had to step back from dodgeball lately. I don't know. Maybe I take it too seriously, but it's good to come in and get a game in, and our guys go hard in dodgeball, so it's a great warm up.
Nate?
Just to kind of add to you guys here, if each of you could, just what's it mean to you guys? You guys are the older ones on the roster. So how does that maybe add to your leadership for this season, dealing with a younger squad and things like that?
Yeah, it's odd. Almost, it's you kind of get there really really quick. So the days of being the young guy on the team kind of flies by. Like I feel like it was yesterday. Me and Roman were the young guys on the team, and suddenly we're the oldest guys on the team, which is really weird. But I think you just kind of realize that guys are looking at you, to try to figure out their own systems and everything. So you try to help them out and still taking care of yourself though at the same time.
Lauren?
I know you guys have both taken advantage of some NIL opportunities. What does that mean to you to have that opportunity to do that now? And what are some goals that you have or things that you would like to be able to accomplish with that opportunity?
Go ahead, Roman.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's a little bit more money in your pocket than you've had before. Like you said, it's not really a crazy amount of money, but it's cool. Every match could mean something. Every match and highlight reel could make you a little bit extra cash and stuff like that. So it's definitely more exciting. And my goal is just to go out there and have fun. I already got a monkey off my back by winning last year, so I just want to go out there and be the best me and just enjoy. It's my last year. I'm going to graduate and pretty much came a long way. So I'm just going to go out there and just have fun every match and just let it fly and try to get those highlight reels like I always do.
And I think it's been cool for me to kind of watch certain guys take advantage of it, because I think it I don't think it's as many people are going to take full advantage of it as people thought, but it's awesome to see guys like Roman, for example, are really good about making sure that they have things set up and taking advantage of that, and it kind of shows some skills that you might not know that wrestlers have, just business skills and marketing skills and stuff like that. And I think it's really cool, and as someone who's not as skilled with that stuff, it's kind of cool to see different wrestlers and the different ways they deal with that stuff. It's pretty awesome, really awesome thing for the sport for sure.
Jim Carlson? Jim, you're muted.
I wasn't a second ago. Here we
Well,
are.
it's because we could hear you typing.
No, it wasn't me.
All right.
Nick, are you guys looking forward to participating in the national duels in December? Is that something different for you guys, especially that early in the season?
Yeah, we haven't really done a dual thing, since I've been on the team. Maybe like a few, but none that I can really remember. So, yeah, it'll be cool. I haven't looked at our schedule yet in full, in its entirety yet. So I don't know about everything we're doing yet, but definitely just excited to get things started.
Andrew?
Hey guys, just for both of you, I kind of talked to Aaron Brooks about this over the summer about female participation in the sports. When he goes out to camps, he's seen an increase. He always makes a point to talk to the girls. What's been your reception and how have you guys tried to influence girls participating in this sport around the state when you go out to camps or wherever your camps are?
I think I'll let Roman kind of his experience might be different, but there's been like a lot of good female wrestlers come out of the state of Indiana high school wrestling. There's not as many of them, but they do, at least when I was in high school, they competed in, with the men. So it was, they were really good. And then as far as, camps and stuff like that, I give them the same treatment I would any other camp participant. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Penn State needs to get a girl wrestling team. That'd be cool. But I have a pretty good girl that's training at my high school named Audrey Jimenez. She's number one in the country, and she's been training with me since I was younger. So I've always worked out with her. I grew up training with Helen Maroulis and all those girls. So I'm always a fan of it. And I always push it. And I do camps for girls. I train MMA fighter girls. So I'm all for it.
Kenyon?
Yeah, just looking back at kind of the results of last season and knowing kind of a team like Iowa has pretty much everyone back. Has the coaching staff really laid out any expectations for you guys as a team, or is it always kind of a national championship or bust mindset?
Well, we're not planning to get second place, right? But we got everybody back too, and we got some good young guys coming in, and I think it's exciting. You get a really competitive field like we did last year, and bringing everybody back plus the new faces. I think it's going to be more exciting for us and even more exciting for the fans. So I think, everyone should be happy about that.
Ben?
Hey guys, how has the vibe around the team changed or the expectations changed coming from last year? You guys are a little bit of a younger team to this year, much more experienced.
Roman, you want
to? It's the same vibe, you just go practice, get better and wrestle. I mean, nothing's changed. It's just wrestling. I really don't know what could change. I go in there, put my best foot forward, just like everyone else, every practice, and that's pretty much it. Just gotta trust the process.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Zach?
Roman, you kind of touched up on this. You said you won the national championship. It got kind of a monkey off your back. This goes for Nick too. Now that y'all are national champions, what are some of your goals for this season?
Some goals are I'm just trying to get some more pins, and then just be entertaining, because at the end of the day, that's what's fun to me, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, I want to win every match, but whatever happens. Can't really get too worked up about it. But I just want to go out there and make sure that I'm fun and enjoy myself, because I know a lot of people change their perception after they win, but mine's staying the same.
Yeah, it's still a game, right? But I would say one of my goals is try to have faster feet than Roman. So I got a long way to go, but we're working on it.
Clay?
Nick, there was a little off-scene chatter about your weight, whether you be at 141, 149. First of all, was that ever a discussion? If it was, when was that decision ultimately made?
Yeah. It's obviously up in the air, right? But, I'm a 41 pounder, and, kind of beginning of the year, we floated it, but just the way where my weight was, I don't think I was going to be 49. So 40, I think it's always for the most part been 41, aside from, hey, you want to go 49? Maybe in the summer, but never really got into too deep of a discussion about it.
Lauren?
What would each of you say excites you the most about this upcoming season?
I think just having fans in Rec Hall is going to be awesome. Haven't done that in a little while, so.
It just depends your interpretation of excitement, because mine and yours might be different. But I think just going out there, the fans is cool. Do my little footwork in some matches and score some points, and it's pretty much it. I mean, we've been here 4 years, so nothing's really too exciting.
Jim?
Roman, the infection, the problem you had over the summer, how scary was that, and how long did it set you back?
I had MRSA in my leg. It was it's pretty intense. I had to stay a couple nights in the hospital, but it only sent me back for like 3-4 weeks. But it's just scary. There's a lot of, if you don't take the right proper hygiene after practice and stuff, that stuff could be deadly. But I learned a lot. So, but it was definitely a scary time.
Zach?
Yeah, you guys open the season with back-to-back dual meets to open the season. How have you conditioned for that, basically?
Our team's in good shape right now. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of competition opportunities, right? So we've been training for a long time, just the whole room, so we're in shape, I think. And as far as conditioning for wrestling, stadium sprints, all that stuff.
Any other questions for these two? Nate, go ahead.
Guys, you said about the excitement of having fans back in Rec Hall and things like that. Was it odd last year, without the fan presence, and how much do you think that really will affect this season?
It might affect Roman differently than me, maybe not, but I just think that's one of the fun parts of the sport. I think that's one of the reasons that people get into the sport and stay into the sport, because it's a hard sport. So I think if we're gonna continue to grow the sport and create excitement around it, and just create publicity, you got to have fans in the venues cheering and stuff. It's just not the same. So I think that's just important for everybody's program, including ours, and just for wrestlers in general.
Zach?
Yeah. Roman, you talked about being an exciting wrestler, showing off your footwork. What do you want to achieve by boosting your excitement level, maybe creating more hype during a match?
The thing for me is just, I don't know. That's a good question. I think for me it's just, I'm just trying to open the gap. Just, I think it's just empty the tank every match. I think sometimes I'll hold back. So my main focus is just on trying to empty the tank and just keep pushing the pace.
Jeff Pearson?
Thanks. This question is for Nick. You mentioned having your brothers on the team. I was wondering, from a coaching standpoint, what kind of, as the eldest, I'm the eldest of three boys myself. So from that standpoint, what's coaching like for coaching your younger brothers generally? And then specifically, how were you able to coach up Joe from his frustrating end to his season?
Yeah, you use the word coaching, and that's one of the frustrating things for me is I'm still an athlete, right? I'm not really a coach yet, so I gotta always remember to take a step back and focus on myself. And I want to help out my brothers, but at the end of the day, they got to figure it out just like I did. And we have a coaching staff for that and stuff, and we have the best coaching staff in the world. So I am a little bit more invested in those guys. So I offer what I can here and there, and sometimes I find the more I step back, the more they'll kind of come to me for stuff, and I like that. But once again, we have the best coaching staff in the world, and so I think the best thing I can do sometimes is just kind of step back and let those guys take over.
Thanks.
Any other questions? All right. Well, I think we're good. Nick, Roman, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. We'll see you over at the room later today.
All right. Thanks,
Yes,
Pat.
sir.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're here with head coach Kale Sanderson as we do our first media Zoom of the year. Any questions for Kale? Go ahead and use the hands raised function. Andy Elder, get us started.
Hey, Kale, I was just wondering if you could, in advance of this weekend's duels, just walk us through your lineup and point out any of the new starters you might be having.
Yeah, I'm not gonna specifically say who's starting and who's not, but it's I think some of the weight class, obviously we just from returning starters and guys that were all Americans and national champions from last year, but 25 is a little bit more competitive this year, I'd say. 49 is Bo Bartlett, and 57's a weight that's a little bit more competitive, 65 also, and then kind of the usual suspects at the rest of the weights. But some of those weights we'll kind of play with that as we kind of go along, and it's still November, obviously. and we got a long but exciting season ahead. So we'll kind of work through the lineup issues as we go along here.
Ben?
Yeah, Nick and RB and Roman kind of elaborated on a little bit that Carter Sirachi had taken a little bit more of a leadership role, coming off all the experience he gained last year. Can you touch on that? What have you seen different from Carter this season?
Yeah, I think Carter is he works really hard, and he's one of those guys. And I think we talked about this last year, that we have to convince him to kind of, take his foot off the gas as we prepare for competitions. And so I think he leads by example in that he just works really hard, and he's going to compete. He believes, very confident kid. I would say I think all of our guys have improved and jumped levels in this offseason, but of course it's up to them to go out there and take advantage of that and continue to compete freely and with enthusiasm, because that's kind of it doesn't really matter how much you've improved. If you're not wrestling with enthusiasm, it's not really going to show through. So, I think that's something that, we can hopefully see out of Carter and see out of some of our seniors is just, or we don't have a lot of seniors, but just some of our more experienced wrestlers is just, wrestling to score points. And obviously if you're trying to win big dual meets or win national championships or Big Ten championships, you need bonus points. And that's something that we didn't have a lot of last year, as everyone knows. So, hopefully, our team is able to improve in that area. And I think a lot of that's leadership, and it's kind of the way, just the attitude and the energy you take out on the mat, and, being less concerned about whether you win or lose and just how you compete. Right. And if we can do that, we'll be good to go.
Andrew?
Hey, Coach, I apologize. My question is more of a media day question, but I was traveling that day. I'm just wondering, Pennsylvania is experiencing a growth of high school teams picking up the sport of girls wrestling, and I'm just wondering what you see as your role in that to keep expanding that, and are a lot of people reaching out to you for helping guiding that movement going forward?
Not too much. I mean, my role is to coach the Penn State wrestling team and obviously the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. And we've had 4 girls training in the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, and if they're part of the club, we're not worried about anything. Whether you're or a man or a woman or whatever, we're just we want to help you reach your goals. As far as the growth of women's wrestling, that's not, I don't know what my role is in that. I mean, at this point, I'm trying to, do my job and take care of, the kids and the people in our program right now. And that's been taking up, a lot of our time and energy. So yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I get asked about that sometimes, and I've pretty good relationship with Wrestle Like a Girl and the movement there. And I think we've taken big strides in the last year or two, or however long we've had girls in our club. But it's just something that's it's been very kind of organic in how and who has kind of joined the club. But I think that's kind of probably the role I'll take in that movement.
Thanks, Coach.
Clay?
Kale, you guys brought in former national finalist in Max Dean in the offseason, obviously have a returning All-American there, 197 with Michael Beard. Can you talk us through a bit about what that conversation was like with Max? Did they approach you? Did you approach them? And then what the situation is at 197 going into the year?
Yeah, that was a situation where I think they were just leaving where they were, and he was restricted in the transfer portal. So we didn't know there was any interest in Penn State, and I got a text, or I think from Coach Gabe Dean, and we talked, and he said, Penn State's one of the programs he'd consider and be interested in. And then I'd say the rest is history. And I'd say Max is he's just a really, really good dude, and works really hard, brings a lot to the table, a lot to the team. And I'd say him and then Michael Beard has definitely elevated his game, which I think this would be a blessing for both of those guys, to have that competition and just having to, compete at a higher level in practice, even just to make the team, having two of the best guys in the country. So, that'll be obviously we got some wrestling to do there, and we'll see how things play out throughout the year. But, we're very, very confident and comfortable with both Max and Mike at this point.
Nate?
Kale, obviously 125 has been like a revolving door for you guys when it comes to a starter there. So does it seem like it's going to continue to be that way, or are you sticking with Robbie Howard going into this year, or what's going on at 125?
Well, yeah, I think again that that's a weight that'll kind of it'll work itself out as we move along here. We have more guys competing in that weight initially, at least, than we have probably at any other weight, just because that's and Howard filled in for us last year, like last second, coming off of a surgery that I think you're all aware of right after his high school state tournament as a senior, and didn't really have a lot of time to prepare. And then he had to jump right back into a surgery right after the NCAA tournament. So, but he's not back to full speed there. But we have several kids that are working hard and that are competitors that are going to try to make that their weight class. And but yeah, it's definitely not at this point like some of the other weights that we have, where we have established guys, and there's no question about who's going and what the story is going to be there. So yeah, so I know that didn't really answer your question probably, but that's going to be something that as we compete, I mean, as a team for us, obviously we're training year round, and we have stuff going on year round, but we like to get into competition here and then make adjustments as we go, and technically, individually, as a team, and kind of figure things out as we kind of progress through the season. And this year will be no exception to that.
Are you able to just give us a couple of those guys' names at 125 that you're looking at?
Well, yeah, I think if you just look at the roster, you got Baylor Shunk, and Campbell was a transfer from Bucknell. Meredith has been working his way back to 125. Obviously, Robert Howard, Marco Vespa is a freshman. We got some freshmen in there. Gary Steen. So that's already. I'm not great at counting, but like 5 or so kids, right? And so that's a good chunk of guys trying to prepare and be the person at that weight class.
Thanks, Kale.
Yep.
Travis, you may be muted.
How about now? Am I good?
You're good. You're good.
Cool. Hey, Kale, I wanted to ask about Roman. After he got through that bout with MRSA in July, without any major health effects, was there any concern about the timing of that? Maybe just throwing off his training cycle, and if so, what adjustments did he have to make based on the timing of when that kind of hit him?
Yeah, I think the scary part is just the severity of the potential of MRSA or anything in that nature, right? Because you get into your joints, and it's very serious stuff. But he was good to go, and a guy like Roman he's training year round. He's another guy that you talked about, Carter, but Roman's another guy that you got to get him to kind of slow down and just because he's training all the time. If you come in on a Sunday night, and it's not an unusual thing to see a guy like Roman in there getting extra work in. So he's always in shape, and he's a very hardworking kid. So yeah, I don't think the timing of it was that big of a deal. I mean, being in the summer, and if it wasn't for social media and stuff, obviously it wouldn't even be something that people were aware of. But yeah, he's a tough kid, and he's not a kid obviously, but he's a tough young man. But yeah, he's firing on all cylinders.
Zach?
Hey, Kale, with college athletes allowed to accept NIL deals now, for example, Roman Bravo Young, he signed with Barstool. What's it been like to coach those guys, and what's it been like to watch them build their brand?
Well, I don't know if it's really changed a lot. I think the unintended, but obviously the clear consequences of that will be involved in the recruiting aspect, which is where it's not supposed to be a part of. So those are things I think everyone's trying to figure out, where do we go from here? But a guy like Roman, I mean, he's worked hard, done a really good job with his social media and building his brand. But, as I tell Roman, I think the reason he has such a huge following is because he's fun to watch wrestle, right? I've heard people that bring him in for clinics and for camps, and they say, oh, it's just fun to watch this guy, the way he moves. He's so fast and smooth, and so I feel like that's but in addition to that, obviously just putting great content and being a respectful and just a kid people want to follow, and I think he's capitalizing from that, and that's something that is nice and will be available to all student athletes moving forward. I think our program's unique in that kids in our program should have a lot of NIL opportunities if they come in here and they show that there's somebody that a sponsor would want to connect with what they stand for and the way they compete. And I think it's just important that it's not necessarily whether you win or lose, that's going to be the big draw. It's going to be how you compete, what you represent, those kind of things. But I think it definitely is something, right away as a coach, you're thinking, okay, well, this you're just going to have weird pressures coming in from, outside people that now have their their hands on or are part of a young kid's career. And, it's just a different kind of pressure if you feel like, because I think most sponsors probably are, obviously have good intentions, but it's just a matter of making sure they're not adding weird pressure to these kids to just go be themselves and compete hard. So I think that's the thing that, I'm thinking about with our kids is just helping them, because I still believe, just reach your goals, be the best you can be, do well in school, and everything will take care of itself. And, I believe that 100%. But at the same time, if these guys can capitalize on, their name, image, and likeness at the same time and just have fun with it and not take yourselves too seriously, then let's go. But ultimately, obviously, it's going to be up to each individual and how they manage those things and the perspective and the effort that they put into that or not. But yeah, I think a guy like Roman's done a really good job, and he's done a great job building his brand. And he was building his brand before this, obviously, and so he kind of got a head start. But yeah, I just want him to go compete with enthusiasm. If he does that, his following will just continue to increase. It's a long answer. It's kind of it's a tricky question. It's just, we don't know. And every state has different state laws on how and NIL can be used, and Pennsylvania unfortunately is behind, in my opinion, just from in that perspective. And I think they were trying to get ahead, but ended up coming in behind. So I think the use of it in recruiting is what we're thinking more about and trying to we want to be ahead of the game, not trying to catch up. That's not how we operate or want to operate. So we want to make sure we're kind of leading the way in all things, and this is something that we got to figure out.
Jim Carlson.
Yeah, so all 10 NCAA champs return, a bunch of other guys because of COVID. Do you think that's has reshaped the sport in any way in terms of, scholarship distribution, recruiting, even building adequate team depth at every weight?
Yeah, I think the COVID year is it's an interesting thing. I mean, I think it affects everybody. Obviously, some it's going to affect more than others, right? Because if you saw the rules, if you were a senior last year and you were on scholarship, your scholarship is exempt this year. So, in theory, if you had 10 seniors last year and they're all on full rides, well, this year you've got 20 full rides. And so some schools had more seniors than others. And so, it's just a weird situation, right? Because a few years ago, guys like Paul and Colin Moore and Vincenzo Joseph, they had a year taken, and they had 3 years to go to an NCAA tournament. And now the NCAA flips it, and they're going to give kids 5 opportunities to go to the NCAA tournament, which I think that's kind of a silly thing to do. But, you understand, why or what their perspectives are. And you deal with and you work through whatever opportunities or challenges or whatever you want to look at them out as they are. So I think it's there's a lot of different challenges, right? You have kids that now have an extra year of eligibility, and so you have recruits coming in thinking, well, I thought I was going to be stepping in at this point. This guy's here, that challenge. But it is the best wrestlers going to wrestle in each weight, kind of a deal. So and that's one of the beauties of wrestling. But yeah, I think there's challenges and kind of some, it's kind of a strange time, but it is what it is, and I think everyone's going to make do and be the best they can be.
Tanyan?
Yeah, kind of a similar question. Kind of knowing that the vast majority of teams across the NCAA have nearly everyone back, how do you not view this season as kind of a repeat of last year from a competitive standpoint?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a repeat. But we just like to compete. It doesn't really matter what the circumstances are, right? I mean, it's the challenge is just be the best we can be and just get better as the season goes on. I think it's going to be, even last year, I liked that. It was a fun year as discussed last year, just in that, there weren't redshirt year that, kids are wrestling, where maybe they wouldn't have if it wouldn't have been a free year. I thought that was kind of fun this year. Yeah, it's maybe it's a repeat, but national titles were won last year, team titles, individual, and a whole new set of championships and opportunities this year. So we just want to be in a place the best we can to help our kids reach their goals and get what they want.
Lauren?
Yeah, my question was actually about, some of those changes last year, about the extra bouts at duels and, guys being able to wrestle without burning their eligibility and get some experience. Are any of those changes on the table to potentially return at some point? And is that something that you would be in favor of?
Yeah, I think as a conference, I think, every coach in our conference, wrestling wise, was saying, I think they're in favor of getting extra bouts. And I don't know if we've gotten word back yet on that from the conference, but I think, we were all in favor of that opportunity. It is a little challenging just in that because you can only travel so many student athletes, right? If we have an away conference match, and we can only travel 13, right? And then if you have 2 matches on the road, then you could travel up to 15. So, the challenge, obviously, if you're taking 13 to go wrestle whatever school in the conference it is on the road, well, when do those guys get extra matches? And then, you also only have 3 backups to fill in if someone doesn't make weight, or somebody's sick, or somebody fails skin check or whatever. So then when do they wrestle those bouts? Is it after the dual meet? And that's kind of a tough thing. I know if we get our butts kicked, last thing you want to do is stick around in their arena and but so those are just some thoughts. But I think it's great to give kids opportunity to get more matches in and compete, maybe when they wouldn't before, and it cuts back on the need for them to travel on their own. But most sports don't provide opportunities, right, for your backups to go play in different games in different. So I don't know how far that will go or not. I mean, wrestling, it's easier for us to do that than say football. You want to get more experience for your players where you're not running a game somewhere, or basketball or so. But yeah, I think we're all in favor of it. If it goes through, that would be great.
Clay?
Yeah, I know you guys are a bit limited in terms of specifics here, but is any thought to going back into the transfer portal at 125? Is that something that's been discussed, or do you plan on sticking with the group that you had throughout the season?
You were breaking up a little bit. You said, I'm not really sure what the question was. You said 125. Are we?
Is there any chance that you guys duck back into the transfer portal mid-season for somebody at 125, or are you guys set with the group that you currently have in the room?
Well, I think every program probably checks the transfer portal every day, right? So, I mean, I would never, or anybody, I don't think would ever say that a transfer portal is not an option, right? But you do what you can with who you have right now, and we've got some kids that are working hard and are looking forward to competing, and some of them haven't competed in a long time. Even last year, some of these kids didn't get matches in for whatever reasons, and so we're excited to see how they do, and we're going to make the most of it. And what I do know is the kids that we wrestle are going to give their best effort, and that's what we're excited to see.
Nate?
Kale, obviously, some people, are kind of like confused how Penn State can have 4 national champions and yet still finish second in a national championship setting. How do you feel? Like, do you think there should be a change at all to like the scoring aspect when it comes to like the placement points and things like that, to put more emphasis on national champions, so that where you don't have that kind of question come into play?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think that makes sense, but it is a team championship, right? And I do think that the points are awarded lean towards the stars, the guys that win, right? I mean, so you could flip it and say, well, we had, I don't know how many All-Americans that we had, 6 or 7. So, I mean, you could also flip it and say, well, how was Penn State only 15 points away from Iowa when they had 10 All-Americans or whatever they had, right? And 4 or whatever, I don't know what they had, but so I do think if you look at the scoring, that it does favor having stars, and it does favor big, like pins and bonus points, right? I mean, a pin is worth 2 extra points, and a win in the consolation round is worth half a point. So that right there kind of shows you that I do think that it favors the stars and having superstars, and I like that. I think that's good. I think having stars and building up stars is good for your sport. So I think I would just say I do think that's the system that we have. And we were 15 points out, and we didn't score very many points. 0 points at least 2 weights. I mean, I have to think about it, but we didn't score a lot of points in some of the weights, and we were still able, because of the individual performances of our guys, to be close. I mean, not, we had 4 guys win in the finals that kind of closed the gap a little bit, but and if it wasn't for that, I mean, we would have gotten kind of whooped. Kind of got whooped anyways as a team. So I think the system's set up. I like it, because I think people are trying to go the other way. They want to de-emphasize this, the ability that one wrestler has to score points. But I always think of it as any other, the big sports that have more people following, a football or a basketball, right? I mean, you got Shaquille O'Neal, you give him the ball the whole game, and he might score 40 points. You know, he can score half your points for you. You know, I like that. Or in football, right? Your running back, your quarterback. I mean, they have more of a role in the team's success. I mean, obviously, you have to have every position has to, you know, compete. But I'm just saying, I like building up and having individuals have the ability to score more points for your team. So, and I think we have that for the most part.
Greg Pickle, go ahead.
Kale, you're going to Florida in December, and also you'll start at Spooky Nook. What went into the decision you guys made to go to those two events?
Just looking for matches and yeah, I guess, I mean, that's it. You know, it's fun to kind of change things up a little bit and to see some new faces. You know, we'll see Oregon State, and then obviously Sacred Heart on Saturday, two teams that we don't see a lot. And then you know, at I don't know what they're calling the tournament. You know, we're focused more on trying to, you know, getting our guys to finish their shots quickly, or you know, that kind of stuff. But I know we're going to wrestle some and have some really marquee dual meets in Florida, and that's something that we're looking forward to. We try to get you know, some kind of a big event that the kids look forward to, the student athletes look forward to, you know, around that Christmas time. And this makes a lot of sense. So we're excited to go give it a shot.
Got time for a couple more here. Zach?
Yeah, you touched up earlier on people want to come watch Roman wrestle because he's fun to watch. Do you think there's a place for flashiness in the sport in terms of gaining publicity, obviously the brand deals as we talked about earlier? What are your thoughts on it?
I guess I would just ask, you know, what's the definition of flashy? You know, I think to me, I think you hard and you know, you fly around the mat, you do your thing and be yourself. To me, I just would hope, and you know, with our guys, and you know, as a coach and as a fan of sports, that there's just respect shown. You know, I mean, that's a big core value that I have and that I was taught, you know, growing up. My dad was my coach, and you know, you show respect for your opponent, win or lose. You know, it's kind of like for a lot of reasons, I wouldn't get into that, but you know, I think be flashy. Just if you show respect to your opponent, then do your thing. And you know, we've had different kids have had, you know, celebrate and do different things in different ways over the years. You know, we're not trying to get them to, you know, all be the, but I do think that, you know, we just want to make sure that we're showing respect. I think that's really to me.
Sorry, Kale. Jim Carlson, go ahead.
Kale, because you have two matches, can you take 15 to Mannheim? Do you plan on wrestling 15 to Mannheim just to see what some guys can do? And what do you know about Oregon State and Sacred Heart?
Yeah, I think we can take 15, and you know, we might throw 6 guys into their invitational the next day also, just to make sure we're getting matches. At this point, we just want to get matches, right? I mean, obviously we always want to win, you know, everybody wants to win, but it's more about just development and just getting out there and seeing where we are. You know, we know that, you know, I know Sacred Heart was one of the, you know, first teams to, you know, want to wrestle. And so I know they're going to be ready to go. And obviously Oregon State has a really solid team, and they, you know, a young up and coming coach that they'll have those guys ready to go. So, you know, we just got to be ready to compete and be ourselves. But like I said, we're just excited to get out there on the mat and just get started, right? That's when we can start making progress as a team, is when we're competing and we're seeing how our kids actually respond in those, you know, in real competition. So, you know, we're excited just to kind of get that process rolling.
Kenyon?
Yeah, just I mean, we touched earlier on like the national championship result kind of from last year, and just knowing that, I mean, Iowa has pretty much everyone back. Like, just wondering, where do you think those points can come from to bridge that gap for a program that has national championship expectations every year?
We just have to be the best that we can be. We're not going to worry about anybody else, how many points anyone else can score. We're just going to see. I mean, obviously we just have to step it up in every weight. And we had 4 guys win last year, but we had one that was expected to win going into the tournament, right? So that was a Cinderella type of event from an individual competitor's standpoint. So even those guys, every one of them can score more points, right? I mean, it's part of that never be satisfied mentality, always grateful, but never satisfied, I would say. And, we need to score some bonus points. We need to score points in 10 weight classes would be helpful. You start doing that, and you just got to believe, just got to believe and just be excited. I mean, this is sports, I mean, there's a lot more serious things and things we could worry about than just, than a sport. So with that being said, just being free and just to go be our best and smile and like I said, not take ourselves too seriously and just have some fun, have some fun competing and attacking our goals. And if we do that and there's no question. I mean, we have to get better as this year goes on. I mean, we know that. But I believe in our guys and I believe in our system. And I believe that if our kids buy in, there'll be some magic there because there always has been.
And last one for Kale, Jeffrey Pearson, go ahead.
All right, Kale. We've seen a couple of different reports on the structure of the journeyman collegiate duels, I believe is what Journeyman has told us they're branding the tournament as. We've seen Intermat report in August that there will be up to 12 teams placed in 4 pools of 3 by seed, but also avoiding conference opponents. But for day 2, we've seen a couple different reports about what happens, after the pod play. I was wondering if you can tell us, like with Iowa in the tournament or in the event down there, can you tell us whether or not there's a chance that Penn State and Iowa can still meet up in that event?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the criteria was, the point isn't to wrestle your conference meet, prior to your conference meet. The was to set up some just some marquee dual meets with non-traditional opponents and just have a great event and see how it goes. So no, I don't think we're wrestling anyone in our conference. Okay. I know Michigan was thinking about getting in there. I'm not sure if they're in there, but I think the first criteria was they're going to separate teams in the same conference. And then second was if you are wrestling this team any other time of the year, then they're going to, separate you there. So I think you have pods or pools, whatever you call them, and then the winners are going to wrestle. But yeah, I don't think I think we're looking at 3 matches. Maybe
3 matches. Okay. No, 4.
Yeah. And I've seen that, the details of it. And I mean, if they haven't released it yet, it's probably not my place, but we're going to have some good matches. It's going to be fun. I mean, I know who we're wrestling right now. I think, if we win, we'll wrestle whoever wins in the other pool, but it'll be some really big matches. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited about it.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Well, that'll take care of Kale today. Kale, thanks for the little bit of extra time there. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Sorry about the computer thing.
No, it looks good. We got you. Fine.
I hate computers.
All right, everyone. Well, I'm going to stop, pause right now. Kale, thank you. We'll bring Carter in here in a second. Thanks, Kale.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back. We're joined by national champion, 2-time All-American Aaron Brooks. We'll have Carter Strachey here in a moment. Aaron, thanks for joining us, and everyone, go ahead and get your hands up, and we'll start with some questions for AB. Jim Carlson, get us started.
Hey, Aaron, can you just explain, how exciting it was for you and what a learning process it was to be David Taylor's training partner in Tokyo, and what did you take away from that experience?
This summer was a blessing, being able to travel with David and, just be at the Olympic Games, and that's somewhere I see myself in the near future. So to be able to see how the training goes, leading up to that kind of competition, and just being able to kind of tag along and pick the brains of the top coaches at Team USA, and as well as spend more time with Coach Kale and everyone this summer just training. So being able to go to Tokyo this summer was it was a great blessing for me. I'm really grateful for it, and I got a lot better at wrestling and got some miles in traveling. So it was a good summer.
Andy Elder.
Aaron, having won the national championship last year, I'm wondering if that is any kind of freeing effect on you. Does it allow you to change your approach for this year?
Not really. It's kind of all the same thing for me, at least. Actually, Carter, mute that real quick, bro.
My bad.
You good, buddy? You good, bro?
I got him.
But at least for me, sorry, what's the question again? One more time. Returning champion last year. There's really I look at it the same way, kind of just going out there wanting to reach my goals. I don't want to think of it as like I'm the defending champion or I got to protect something. It's still I want to go out there and hunt for my goals and chase the things I want to achieve. So it last year. It was great to win. It was a great feeling. But this year's a new year. There's a new competition that I'm excited about wrestling. So to say that last year and this year offer the same thing is it just doesn't. So I'm really excited for the new opportunities this year.
Thanks, Aaron.
Travis.
Hey, Aaron, Roman said earlier that really quickly, I guess, what he wanted to do more of this year is just more pins, I guess. And Kale talked about more bonus points being a kind of a goal for you guys this year. Is that how do you do that? How do you go out and turn it loose a little bit more, especially maybe early in the season? And what is the ceiling, I guess, for this group when it comes to bonus point wins, do you think?
Yeah, I think that's one thing we as a team we've really tried to focus on this year is just bonus points on top, transitioning from takedowns to back points. It makes a huge difference when and we see that in previous teams, regardless of the talent we have this year, I think this is the most talented team Penn State's ever had. But when you get bonus points, it makes your job a lot easier as a team. So definitely that's something that we want to focus on this year is just going out there and, you want to just focus on bonus points, but when they're there, you want to be able to take them. So I think just making that kind of a priority from our team is like, if you can get the bonus points, we got to go for it because it pays off in the long run.
Nate.
Aaron, two-part question here. One is you're one of the older guys in the lineup. Hard to say that as a sophomore, but to have the success that you had last year, how do you use that to be a leader for this young squad? And then second, you said you feel like this is the most best team Penn State's had. Yeah, best talented team Penn State's had. So, why do you think that? What do you think is different from the previous teams?
Well, I think to answer that last question first. I think our team's really hungry. I think just with everything that the pandemic, last year's results, I think our team's it's really been working hard. And just for me, looking around the room and seeing the work that these guys are putting in and the skills that they're trying to obtain, it's really motivating for me as well. And when it comes to being an older person on the team, I try to just lead by example. I try to just come into practice every day with a smile on my face, let people know, like, this is our passion. This is what we love to do. I think setting that kind of tempo in the room every day really raises the energy and just lets people know, like, hey, like, we're not going to look at this as a job. Like, we're blessed to be able to come do this every day. So for me as a leader, we've all four of us are leaders on the team, but we kind of all lead our own different ways. I think for me, just my actions, just coming in with a smile and being myself. You got guys who are more vocal leaders like a Nick Lee or Roman, he doesn't really talk at all, but he still leads by example. So I'd say that way is just continuing to work hard. And if guys need me, they can reach out. So just being that guy on the team.
Zach?
Hey, Aaron. I was talking to other wrestlers before this and primarily Roman. He said he tries to excite the crowd with his footwork and all of that.
Yeah.
Is that something you try and do in your wrestling matches, or do you let your wrestling talk for you?
See, like when I'm wrestling, usually I'm in the zone. So if I do something that gets the crowd hyped and I'm able to acknowledge it, I might do it again. But it's not usually my I don't usually go out there and then try to mainly focus on the crowd. I just want to focus on wrestling and going out there and doing what I'm doing. And usually hopefully that does entertain the crowd. But definitely something I might implement though, just with fans back and stuff. So I might switch it up a little bit, do some Roman Rival footwork.
Tanyan?
He's been showing me a little bit, but I'm not mastered like him. He's a quick man, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, I kind of asked this to everyone already, but I wanted to get your viewpoint. Like, just looking at this year, knowing that, I mean, the majority of teams across the NCAA have pretty much everyone back. Like, how do you view this year as not like a repeat of last year? Like, how is it different?
Well, I think every year offers a different opportunity. Even if you're the champion last year, you got to repeat team-wise, individual. But for me, my perspective, I have a lot of, there's new opponents every year. But I think just a new season, like it's a new group of guys we're trying to get it done with. So I think that's always different as well. It offers a different challenge when we are still a young team, right? But you do graduate people that might not start that were big to the team. You lose valuable members. So I think the new opportunity and the new challenge is doing it with a new group of guys. And I think that's always exciting is whenever you get to try to go out there and repeat with new freshmen or, new teammates and new memories and new stuff like that. So I think it just offers a new aspect in everything.
Ben.
Aaron, you mentioned how the team is, very talented this year and extremely hungry. Four of you guys were, won your first national title and, you could say reached the peak of college wrestling for individual success. How do you four personally stay motivated, having already reached that success?
Well, I think each individual is different. If someone's goal is to just be an NCAA champion, it might be harder for them to be motivated after they win that NCAA championship. So I think for a lot of our guys, thankfully, we want to wrestle. We have goals outside of NCAA wrestling as well. So when you want to be an Olympic champ, it's kind of hard to settle with being an NCAA champ. So I think that's one thing for me is I have more goals I want to reach. So with that being said, like I'm very excited I reached my NCAA championship, but I know I want to achieve higher things. So that's what keeps me motivated.
Jim Carlson.
Sorry, Aaron. Can you just explain what you've seen from some of the new guys in the room and what's it like to roll around with Max Dean?
Oh, Max. So the new guys in the room. Well, Max. I'll start with Max first. Max is an interesting character. He's a really nice kid. He's known right now for hosting like team barbecues. That's what Max does. So I've really enjoyed having Max in the room, and he's made a lot of us better. Bringing that He comes from the Cornell wrestling room, so he brings a whole different mind to wrestling, whole different views, and then a great partner, NCAA runner-up. So having him in the room and having him as a friend and teammate has been huge for a lot of our guys. And I think you'll be able to see kind of the fruits of those labors as the season goes on. But Max Dean is a great kid. I'm super excited we have him. And same with the freshmen we have. I say our freshmen now are probably the closest group of freshmen we've had. Some of our upperclassmen were talking about that yesterday. Is our freshmen are super close. So it's really cool to see them interact and they stay after practice or they're doing extra work. So I'm super proud of those guys too. It can be hard to come in and kind of just, set the tone, and they did. So hats off to them.
Hey.
Pat, I think you said me. How excited are you to go to the National Collegiate Duels in Florida, and what will that opportunity be like against some teams you maybe haven't seen before?
Yeah, I'm super excited for that because for me, I've never really been able to do stuff like that just because my college career has been kind of different. My freshman year, my red shirt was pulled, and then that was kind of like heading into the Big Ten schedule. So I didn't get to really wrestle in the non-conference duels, and then NCAAs was taken, and last year was all conference wrestling. So it'll be really cool to be able to wrestle in the that dual meet and that tournament down in Florida and stuff too. The job. So I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff. Like I said, it's something I haven't been able to do in my career, so that excites me as well. So I'll be able to have my first full season. So.
Greg, was that you? I'm sorry.
It was, yeah. Thanks, Pat.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. Clay Sourteg, go ahead. I lowered your hand. But go ahead with your question, Clay.
Not a problem. I appreciate it. Aaron, how you doing? You mentioned that this freshman group is really tight and that they stay after work or after practice to work. Alex Facundo is one of those freshmen that you could potentially see in the lineup down the road. What has it been like? Have you gotten the chance to roll with him at all? And what are some things that he does in the room that are a bit unique? Because I know he's obviously a very talented freshman.
No, Alex is he's a phenomenal young wrestler too. I think one thing I've really noticed about him that he's just super good at is like if you do something to him once, it's gonna be hard to do it again. So he catches on and he evolves quick. And I think that's something that you're kind of just naturally born with. So he definitely has that that in him, which is really good to see. So I say that's the main thing though, is he's really smart. His wrestling IQ is what makes the biggest difference. at that level as well. Whenever you're coming from high school to college, when you have that IQ already, it puts you ahead. So it's a great advantage for him, and it'd be exciting to see how far he takes it. In my opinion, he can be a 4-time NCAA champion. So.
Okay, so we've got Carter is with us now. Carter, you can go ahead and unmute, and we'll just keep going with questions. Questions for AB or Carter. And then what we'll do is if you had any questions for AB, go ahead and get those out of the way so we can let Aaron get out of here, and then we'll bring Carter in. But have at it, Zach.
Yeah. This is the first season since collegiate athletes like you guys could accept NIL deals. Do you currently have one? If not, are you working towards one? How are you doing that? And like what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so NIL, it's new. It seems kind of promising to athletes right now. It's a lot of people are excited about it. For me, myself, I haven't really put too much time into it. I think I'd rather focus on the wrestling. I know my father, he's worked some stuff that I might be able to negotiate with, but my main focus is wrestling. I know that with this NIL stuff, I don't want to sign any deal to where I know my worth's higher, or where I know like a month from now I'll be, worth a little more. So I'm just kind of patient on that. Just want to reach my goals and see what's up. So it's interesting though. It'll be interesting to see how that works this year.
And do we have any specific questions for Aaron before I bring Carter in? All right, AB, you're good to go, man. Thank you. I really appreciate you in the helm there while we got Carter in and out of his appointment.
No, yeah, thank you guys. Have a blessed one.
All right, thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, so questions for Carter. Go ahead, Clay.
Hey, Carter, I just spoke to Aaron about this, but one of the new freshmen in the room, Alex Facundo, is a kid that's obviously come in with a lot of kind of hype and expectations. What have you seen from him in the room, and what are some of the things that you think he does well?
Yeah, so I think Alex, I think really highly of Alex. He has a lot of potential, and I see a lot of me in him. And when I say that, I haven't met too many kids that kind of walk the walk, like you can tell by his aura and his energy that he brings to the room that he really wants to achieve all of his goals, and he's in the room constantly. And I know that he didn't win the Clarion Open this past weekend, but I know that's not going to faze him, and his mindset is still going to be sharp. And I believe that he'll be a national champ.
Lauren?
Yeah, Carter, going through the experience and the journey that you did last year, losing early on and then going on to win a national title. What lessons have you taken away from that experience and possibly learned about yourself?
Oh, yeah. I think last year was a great experience. It was a great learning experience. Obviously, I wanted to go undefeated as I know I'm better than everybody. But I guess that's just a part of life. We go through life. There's wins, there's losses. You lose people in your family and you lose matches. It's no big deal. You just get up and you learn and you improve and you carry on your journey. I think those takeaways that I took from that was just I just got to make sure that I'm prepared on that day. It's not about if no one cares about who's Carter Strachey on November 12th. Because it's nothing going on that day. It's who's Carter Strachey when it's time to go whoop someone's butt. So I just got to make sure that I'm ready on those days, and on those days come, take everybody out.
Kenyon?
Yeah, I was just wondering, how is this kind of off-season and kind of preseason prep deferred between this year and last year for the team?
Yeah, I think our team is better than it's ever been. When you walk in that room, man, it's like almost kind of like a weird vibe if you're not focused on a goal, So for me, I go in there and I'm just focused on it's being the best version of myself, and every guy in that room has that same energy that they bring, and everyone's just dialed in, So it's really a good experience. Our training's been really good, and we're ready to go.
Ben?
Carter, you were, one of the younger guys on the team coming off a national title win last season. How have you kind of evolved as a leader on the team?
Yeah, I pretty much lead. I just lead by example, I put my hard work in. I work hard. I work smart. I help guys. I want to know, like, if they ask a question, like, I'm always there for all those guys. I ask those guys questions. So I'll kind of just say that I just lead by just kind of just putting the work in, you know. I mean, I don't have too much to say. I don't have all the answers. I'm learning every single second of the day. And I think we're all leaders in our own way, you know. It starts from each individual, the coaches, our media team, everybody. So it's not just us that's doing the work. It's not just our coaches. It's everybody on the Penn State staff, you know, the people that you guys may not see behind the scenes that are helping out and making things easier for us. So it's I don't believe in a term like it's self-made or something like that. You know, it's a team thing, and we're all in it together, and each person that we have on staff is the best.
Zach?
Hey Carter, I asked Aaron this, especially with fans, you know, back in Rec Hall. Do you try and excite the crowd at all when you wrestle, or is it just straight to business?
It's a little bit of both, you know. I feel like I think business always comes first. You know, you got to get your hand raised, and I believe you got to dominate your opponent because that's what we do it for. But this is also sports too, you know. This is entertainment business. It's fans come to watch a good match, you know. So that's an external force, you know. It's not something that is going to get you out of bed. That's not something that's gonna push you on, but it's something that can add on and help rise the sport. You know what I mean? Help put your team on your back and things like that and get momentum. So I definitely feel it's an important factor, but it's not the main factor.
Andy?
Carter, there was a lot of uncertainty last year with, you know, week to week and sometimes day to day about whether you were going to have practice, whether you're going to be able to have a dual meet or whatever. Is there a little more excitement this year knowing that things are a little more back to normal and you can count on when matches are scheduled, you're going to wrestle them, and that adds a little more excitement to the prep?
I wouldn't say so, man. I'm excited right now. I mean, I got practice at 1:30, so I'm excited as can be. I mean, I'm excited every second. I get to wake up and I get to team my dreams every single day. So I know last year was kind of bumpy with the schedule and all the matches getting canceled, but I mean, I think life is deeper than wrestling, and just to be a good person and be able to talk to God and be a blessing, I feel like everything's an excitement, you know. And if you don't have that look on life, I feel like maybe you got to do a little more self-reflection and figure out the true meanings of life. And so yeah, I mean, I'm always excited, and that's just how I carry myself.
Jim?
Carter's trying to stay out of that pizza place there, but
yeah.
Short of that, what have you done in the off season to ensure that you'll be even more productive this season? And are you looking forward to what really appears to be a loaded 174-pound class?
Yeah, it was a good off season. I actually had a lot going on. I was out in Tokyo with Franklin Gomez. I was coaching with Team Puerto Rico, which was pretty good, and I got to learn all from those guys. And then when we got to Tokyo, I was obviously with like everybody. I was wrestling all the teams from all the countries. I was with Team USA. I was in the village, so I was writing notes. I was visualizing every single step of the way, and then I've also been doing my own training camp and getting ready. And I think just really focusing on my mind and kind of just being free when I wrestle. I know that I have a lot of passion and I want to win. Like it's really bad, but kind of just focusing on just having fun, you know, because having fun is going to lead to it's going out there and wrestling free. And when you wrestle free, that's when you dominate guys, and that's the fun part too. So that's kind of been a main focus for me. I can't work any harder than I do now. I mean, that's pretty much impossible. I put in all the work that's needed. So it's just kind of keep that mind sharp.
Tanyan?
Yeah, from a team perspective, how do you kind of view this year's different from last year, and like not just a repeat, especially knowing that there's a team like Iowa who has pretty much everyone returning and had a very successful season last year?
Yeah. I feel guys on our team. I don't know what it is. I think maybe us getting 4 champs last year kind of put some energy into these guys in their hearts a little bit. But I kind of feel as guys on this team, they kind of believe a little more. And and they believe we're the best and they believe we're supposed to win. We're kind of last year, we kind of still had that from a lot of guys, but I kind of felt like that some guys were just kind of going through the motions and things like that. But that's not the case anymore. And I feel our team is really good. And obviously we're going to get a lot better as the season carries on. We're a very young team. We have a lot of solid freshmen. And I think we're going to keep getting better every single day. As matches go on, we get better. You see other teams, they start to get worse, and we just keep getting better. And that's what's going to be. It's the same story every year. We're gonna win the national title, and we're gonna carry on our journey.
Couple more here for Carter. Ben, go ahead.
Carter, you expressed all throughout last season how confident you were in your own ability. What does winning a national title do for you going into this season, confidence-wise?
It doesn't do nothing for me. I see myself as the Olympic champ when it was the day I was born. I see myself as a national champ from day one. So this doesn't really add anything. I get up every morning to make sure there's not a pulse alive that can beat me. And I got a match that I got a revenge from last year, and it'll be taken care of. And so I just have fun whooping butt. That's what it is. There's no extra added just from me winning nationals. I knew I was the champ from day one, so I just carry on.
Jeff Pearson.
Hi, Carter. You mentioned earlier about your camps that you did this summer when you got back from Tokyo. I was wondering if you could tell us what you like most about teaching in general and teaching children specifically.
Yeah, I find a lot of joy in giving back and teaching, because I remember when I was a young kid, like I would watch all these NFL games, all these basketball games, and I'm like, man, these guys are pretty cool, like they're just really good at what they do. And like when I was a kid, I would just ask every single question, and I would meet some jerks that they kind of wouldn't help out, and those very few people helped out, and would give knowledge and like actually cared about it. So I just kind of always remember that and always know that life's all about knowledge, just if you want to be a good engineer, you got to learn. If you want to be a good athlete, you got to learn. If you want to be a good person, you got to keep learning. So any chance that I'm able to give back and help somebody out, I'm all for that, because I feel like that's a big part of life. And that's just a key factor in being a good person, which is really deep.